Good day, everyone. My name is Catalina Ibañez Gutierrez. I am the chair of the Implementation Awareness Task Force Working Group for XBRL International. I am a senior consultant and XBRL expert at LookAnet. We are diving today into a exotic topic and really exciting about this webinar from today. Experimenting with large language models, LLMs, for XBRL analysis. Why this topic now? Because financial professionals are exploring AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini to analyze the structured data. But now, what do we make with the XBRL structured data, and what do we need to do for use this type of models? So that's what we are going to uncover today. We have a really prominent guest that everyone knows. Ready, Revati Ramanan from XBRL International. She is a guidance manager and one of our experts in XBRL, and right now also with a lot of experience with AI as well. So thank you, Revati, for joining us today and showing us these today. So please remember that if you have questions, you can use the FAQ options that we have on the webinar, and we will take your questions at the end of the webinar. So, Revati, why this topic is so relevant right now?
Okay, all around us, we see very fascinating applications of AI. Sometimes it feels very unreal. So, natural question is, can we leverage those AI capabilities to understand XBRL report? And that is what we're going to discuss in today's webinar. There has to be a structured approach when you want to analyze XBRL reports in large language models. Like they say, there has to be a method to the madness. When I say large language model, it is ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other model that can understand uh, code and data once you give it to it. So yeah, that's relevant for today. Okay, one disclaimer that I want to put at the beginning is what we are going to discuss is more of approach to experiment with XBRL data analysis. This is not a uh, production implementation approach. This is for you to find out the possibilities, how you could add value in your own processes. Okay, so that's why we are here.
So, Revati, before you start with it, I have a general question. Like, how is it? Like, I just load my SF report and that's it, or do we need to do other steps before that to get our answers from ChatGPT or the model that we are going to use?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people directly uploading a ESEF report inline, other inline XBRL report or the conventional XBRL XML report to ChatGPT and trying to query that. One scenario that you might hit is these LLM might not understand the structure of these reports on its own. You might have to do some additional prompting for it to interpret the context ID, the transformation, the scale. But when you convert these XBRL report formats, the inline XBRL and the conventional XBRL XML1 into XBRL JSON, it becomes much easy to analyze in large language model. Why? Because JSON access is could be understood by AI and a lot of programming languages. With XBRL JSON, it makes us much more intuitive. The representation is much more intuitive. Like you see on the screen, this is one fact value, one fact, and then you have all the aspects attached to that fact available within that fact object. So it becomes much easier to read this document as compared to the conventional format. Yeah, so XBRL JSON should be your first step when you want to analyze XBRL reports in LLMs.
So that's really clear to me right now. So it's more friendly format. We need to get basically a JSON file, but how do we get the JSON file from if we have a SF report? What do we need to do for get our JSON file?
Okay. So most certified XBRL software for XBRL JSON should be able to do that conversion from inline XBRL or conventional XBRL XML to XBRL JSON. Um, yeah, I mean you should be able to use these tools to convert to JSON. I'll show an sample of that. One thing you have to remember is these are all interoperable format. uh, it could be converted into any format, but you cannot go back to inline XBRL report because there's formatting and layout involved. If you want to have some quick access to XBRL JSON reports, you could go to filings.xbrl.org, where every inline report also has a JSON representation. So for your experimentation, you could pick one of the JSON files in that repository or convert using the tools. I'll show how do you convert. I'll use Errol GUI to do that. Okay, so for if you have Errol, you need this plugin called Save Loadable OIM. Once you enable that, you can upload any XBRL report. So I have a few ESIF reports here. I'll open that. Mhm. Okay, once that is loaded, simply say save loadable OIM. I'll just call it test one. Okay, there you have the JSON. Let me also open that. Uh, so you had an ESEF report and inline XBRL report, which was converted into XBRL JSON. So like you see, the conversion is pretty simple. I mean, I assume it is this simple in any other tool. So you have an XBRL JSON report. Like I said, this is the first step. So we can start analyzing in LLMs.
And one question here, Revati, is does everything from the SF report get converted, or there is something that gets loose on the way on this conversion, or we don't need to worry about this?
Conversion to XBRL JSON is pretty much lossless. When I say pretty much, there are very rare features of inline XBRL or XBRL 2.1, which is not supported. But as far as ESF is concerned, you will have a lossless transformation. All your data metadata related to that fact will be converted into XBRL JSON.
Perfect. Okay, so we have our JSON file. So what should we do
Yes.
next?
What we could do next? You could open ChatGPT, you could open Google Gemini, upload this file. Let me show you. Okay, this is a live demo that there might be some embarrassing moments, but I hope not. Okay, let me open this test one JSON that we just created. Okay, what I'm going to tell is I'm going to give it a hint saying that this is a XBRL JSON report. Um, First thing I'm going to tell it is understand the structure. Structure of this report. Yeah, it is loading. Let's see. Okay, I have typos. Okay. So why did I say, understand the structure of the report is it is very important when you load a data into, tools like this for you to understand, ensure that the tool has understood the structure properly. It has identified, say, all the columns, the metadata. So that gives you a first level of assurance that, you could go on with your query. So always when you start with your analysis, irrespective of if it is XBL report or otherwise, try it, first few queries should be for you to gauge if that model has understood your data. Okay.
So the first step is not even a question. It's just given our model basically what the understanding on what we are doing, right? Is we need to start doing that structure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then after this we can just see what comment, what result we get, and then start asking the questions, right?
Correct. Because these are all off-the-shelf tools. I mean, these are not trained, specifically trained to understand, say, XBRL reports. So it is always a good idea to ask questions like this and see that if it has got that structure correctly. So what I see here is it has read through it. Uh, it says, okay, document information. It says which has namespaces, taxonomy listing. Mm, and then it goes on to give an extract of fact. Okay, what does it explain? I think it has its own interpretation of these keys, which seems to be fine. Yeah. Okay. Then it has also this uh, extended explanation uh, of the contents of the report, which seems to be, yeah, very impressive. Quick mental model, okay, concept, value, entity, period. Okay, this is how you will see fact. This seems to be pretty good. I mean, the understanding is pretty good. Now we could maybe start with querying very simple, give it a very simple task. You could ask what was revenue growth, very simple one.
Or for example, what is the name of the company? Of course.
Okay, okay, I can do that as well. What is the name of the company? Okay, we'll
Let's see.
wait for it to pick the correct concept. If it, yeah, okay, this is brown pharma. Okay, this seems to be right. I know this is brown pharma's XBRL JSON report. You could ask this one, which I typed in the last year. Very simple one. I also have the XBRL inline XBRL opened here, so we could check. This is okay. 30% is what viewer says the growth is. We say okay. I think it got those numbers correctly. So this kind of gives you a confidence that it is able to understand your questions. It is able to understand the structure within. Uh, you could go, with much complex queries. Like you could start with ratio analysis. You could, okay, let me calculate. Does it have gross profit? Yes, let's say calculate. Percentage. Okay. But what I'm showing is a very simple query, but you could do a much complex one. You could ask it to list all KPIs. You could ask it to identify all values where there have been significant changes as respect to previous year. You could ask it to summarize any accounting policy. Okay, and this is what 50.
So we can ask basically on the financial statements, but we can also ask about the narrative as well, about the text, right?
Yes, you could, yeah, because the text is tagged and which is available in XBRL JSON, so you could have questions specific to a text block. So when it comes to text, you could do a lot of things. Like one is summarizing, one is identifying the topics. When you look across companies or look across report, you could do this outlier analysis, understand patterns of this narrative disclosure across company. So this is, what I've showed is how you get started, but how do you query, what are your interests? You could go on and on depending on the direction that you want to take that analysis to.
And do we have here almost problems or something that we need to take account, like a common pitfalls that maybe still
Uh,
happen on this analysis or not? What is your opinion on
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like you see here, a disclaimer, like you see in any other LLM, let's say ChatGPT can make mistakes. Of course, it can make mistakes. Um, uh, One thing that you have to ensure at all times is, does it tie back to your source document? You could ask it to kind of state, uh, give me the concept from which you got this above figure. Give me the concept name. You could ask it for fact IDs. You need to always check with the source document to ensure that what these two models give is matches. Of course, you'll not take decision based on what this model is giving, but this is a good first step for your analysis to dig deeper. Okay, this is what it has given concept. You could ask for fact IDs. You could yeah, I mean, basically not believing in what it says, but intermittently checking with your source data, having uh, some kind of a fairness estimation of what it is saying.
Hmm.
Do I have
So,
a
but
slide on that?
I can already see that the XBRL part is really important, right? Because we have this clean data that can give as accuracy, even if we are not trusts, right? Hmm.
Yes, I mean, yeah. Um, this because it is structured, you could go back for it to kind of find out what the fact ID is, where did it pick up that from, as comparing to say PDF reports where it is kind of estimating. First, it is extracting the data and then doing the analysis or the queries that you uh, tell it. So this tracing back is poses a challenge, and also how your PDFs or HTMLs are structured also impacts the extraction efficiency. Okay. I think one piece that I kind of forgot, when you asked for risks or considerations is, what I have uploaded is XBRL report. There's this huge, rich metadata which is in the taxonomy. We've not used that, but from my initial experiments, if you feed it with the taxonomy in a format that it understands, you can get a much more rich, full insight. The taxonomy OIM project, which is underway, I mean, one of the goals is to represent taxonomy in a format that these modern tools can understand.
Hmm. And let's talk about more a real world application, Revity. And what should I do if I want to analyze multiple reports? Like we have see one report, it's nice, but what if I want to do like more with the data? Do I need as well to, how do I get all of them in JSON? First questions. Do you have any tips from us to get the process split up?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what I showed is a very, very simplified version of the analysis. I mean, this is just single file, but typically when you want to experiment, when you want to actually find out something, you might want to work across companies, across periods. So my kind of tip here would be to convert the required files into XBRL JSON using some batch script, using some automation, and then combine them into all JSON into one flat file. Maybe filter the concepts that you require, periods that you require. This is to kind of work around the file size limitations that your license might have when you're experimenting. So you do not want to load all, say, the 1,000 files here. It might not be efficient. So you might want to filter what you want to analyze and then load it here. Convert. So okay, let me read. So convert all files required into XBRL JSON. Um, Convert them into a flat file. I think we have slide. Yes. So I've given a sample batch, a script that kind of combines JSON document in a folder and then um, converts it into a flat file list, which you could then upload to ChatGPT. Let me quickly show. I have a sample like that in which I had taken some extracts of cash flow from 180 uh, ESEF reports. Let me say this is cash flow extracts. So when you have more data, when you have data across companies, the analysis becomes more interesting. Okay, let it analyze. I say, give me cash flow patterns. Okay, this is what the XBRL JSON one I had converted it into a flat structure. Okay, give me cash flow patterns. Now, because there are multiple companies, each might have a different cash position in terms of operating, financing, and investing. Analyzing these things gives an insight into, if it is a growth company, if it is a normal operating company. So when you do not understand anything about the data, having an overview like this helps you, with that first step of analysis. Okay, so what just simple prompt like this, it is able to understand the pattern. It says pattern one is mature, stable companies, growth stage companies where you have a lot of investment funded by loans or say equity. Okay, these patterns itself are interesting to analyze. Then I could go on to ask to list companies in the cluster that I'm interested in. Okay, this is just to show you a simple preview of what you could do when you have data across companies. Yeah,
And
and it is
you have
very interesting. Yeah,
you have
yes,
a script for that, right? To get all these JSON files together.
yes. This is a sample script. I mean, of course, you could improvise on this, but this is what I use to combine all JSON files into a flat structure.
That's really great.
Okay,
So
but yeah, one thing, okay, I've written it here, I forgot. One thing that you have to remember when you do it, you have to be aware of duplicate facts. You might want to deduplicate them. You might want to take care of currencies, because each company might report in different currencies. So you can't simply kind of, combine them together, how entities are identified. So there are nuances when you do this kind of converting everything into one structure.
thank you very much, Brevity, to show us these possibilities that we have with XBRL and AI. But just as a conclusion, can you really give us the insight why we need basically to have XBRL and why we need to do this, like, and just not take the reports as a PDF and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, I have that in my wrap-up slide. When you start analyzing XBRL reports like this, and what you could do is you could also analyze or do the same query in PDF or unstructured format. You will quickly understand, realize the power of structured data. Yeah, it is for you to experiment yourself. You will understand the metadata, the richness of the metadata, how useful it is in analysis like this, and more in the context of AI. So yeah, I mean the data, the metadata, all of that is very useful. Yeah, you could experiment that yourself. One takeaway, I think we are just running out of time, is experiment more, explore more, do these kind of experiments to find what value add these modern tools can do to your work. How you can influence your tagging solution, your XBRL data products, or the way you look at XBRL reports. Yeah, I think that
Thank you.
was my slides.
So, do
Back
you
to
have any question for Revity? Please just type in the chat in the FAQ part.
you.
I don't think we don't have any question from the audience, but so
I think someone has raised the hand. Is it?
yes, maybe, yeah, we have here, yes. Um, is how would you suggest using the LLMs to generate a taxonomy extension? Is the question.
That is, yes, that is a very interesting question, and something that, you know, more often that we are receiving nowadays. That is, um, I mean, how would I suggest is, first, you might want to teach it how these, what a taxonomy extension. You might want to give it more samples. Of course, there is privacy concerns around that when you want to train an LLM model, but only when you teach a model, when you do fine tune a model, is when you can get um, uh, when you can get an LLM to generate a taxonomy extension. Uh, Off the shelf tools might be helpful, it might give you results, but because this is a very nuanced field, training the model, I think seems to be important in this field.
Mhm. There is another question. Any variation on which LLM works better? For example, ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude? What would you do your insights on that? Or it doesn't matter, all of them works fine. You have a preference.
I'm kind of impressed both with Gemini, Google Gemini, and ChatGPT. Claude, I have not experimented much. Gemini also gives you, very interesting results. Um, yeah, and because of it, reasoning model, the recent reasoning model, it also becomes interesting to see, how it is picking up the concept for you to, if you want to see the internal working. Yeah, no preference.
Mhm. And another question that I have is how important is the taxonomy to fill out the LLM with the taxonomy that we are using? Do we need to do that as well, Revati, or not? It's not necessary because it's already on the JSON file, or if we um,
Uh,
ask a
I
question
think it is.
or just to clarify, we are using this taxonomy, please do the analysis based on that. Is helping the LLM
Yeah, it will tremendously help when you also give the taxonomy, but in a format that the LLM can understand, because it then gets the connection. It then helps you, in my little experiments, it then understands the calculation relationship, tells you that this is how it is connected, or the references. So the extra context that the LLM has with the taxonomy is kind of hugely helpful, but depends on what kind of analysis you want to do. If you want to understand taxonomy extensions, if you want to say compare anchoring, so giving that context to LLM becomes much more critical. Yeah.
There is another question is, don't you think using AI may compromise companies' confidential information because some of the information contained may be not public information, but
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
say if we have a SF report, it should be already not anymore confidential, right? But you have another
Correct.
opinion.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a valid, genuine concern, using confidential data in third-party tools like this. But what I've shown here is, using public data. So yeah, that's a genuine concern, and uh, not an expert to kind of address how that could be taken care. But yes, that's a challenge.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's a challenge, but I will say we use the reports that are already basically open for everyone, public. Then there is no basically problems that we will get there, right? If we are filling out AI with a report that is not yet finished, then that's another question, right? But if we have the tag report from last year, then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I
Experimental
think.
public data. Yeah, I feel
Mhm. We
it's
have
over.
another one. It's
Okay.
amazing, amazing the question. So when you have said that taxonomy needs to be transformed into a format and that it can understand, what format is that? Is it JSON? And what tool can I use to perform that transformation?
Okay. I mean, what I had done in the XBRL taxonomy into JSON, but not using the standard because we do not have it yet. Some draft taxonomy OM standards, or even the Excel output, which any tool gives. That is also helpful if you want to really load taxonomy into LLM. Yeah. Yeah,
So just
until
just
we have a standard taxonomy OM model, you could do your own custom transformation, say spreadsheets or any other JSON format to load it into
even
LLM.
even
Yeah.
even an Excel file with the data of the taxonomy will be useful as well for this type of analysis. You are saying, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean that is not kind of ideal, but yeah, it works that way as well. You give it in Excel, it understands it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do we have any limitations on questions analysis or something that we need to be aware on doing this type of analysis with AI?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it can get wrong if it is they it depends on your license, like the constraints on the file size that you can load, or the way it understands. Sometimes you keep on asking the question and then it might hallucinate. It might get it wrong. So yeah, I mean there are constraints, file file size constraint depending on your license. Questions, I don't know. I mean, it is open for you to ask questions as such, or the content of the analysis. I think I have not kind of hit a constraint. Yeah, maybe connecting to public data sources, like say you want to connect it to the price of that stock. Yeah, you might be able to connect. Yeah, within analysis within the data, I mean, you you're typically able to perform.
Mm-hmm. So, but thank you very much, Revati. I think we have reached the top of the half an hour with 5 minutes of delay. So, thank you very much. Just to say as a my wrap up is that it's impressive how we can give basically the hand with XBRL to AI to stop the hallucination basically and to get accurate data. We have seen that. And that basically XBRL give these data sets that AI needs to give us accurate answers. And we cannot even analyze one report. We can also convert more than one and make a great analysis using our XBRL reports combination with AI. So thank you very much
Yeah.
for your time and for your questions. Revati, also to you, and we will get in touch and have other webinars about AI and XBRL soon. So have a nice day. I see more questions. Wait, maybe we have another one. Thank you very much. And will you share the recording? Yeah, the recording will be on YouTube soon. That you can all of you see that. And there is also as well guidance on that on the webpage from Expert International as well, right? Revati, we have you have also you wrote a post about
Yeah.
this issue. Okay.
Yes.
So have a
Yes.
nice
Yeah.
day
Thank you.
and thank you very much. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.